Multiple buildings burned to the ground in a massive fire near downtown Fort Wayne, and smoke could be seen from miles away. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Tonight we have extensive coverage of today's fire.
It all started just before 2:30 in a set of storage units on Herbert Street. That is just south of downtown Fort Wayne near the Tecumseh Street Bridge. Tonight we have team coverage of the fire for you. First, we will take you live to the scene where crews are still putting out hot spots. Then we'll take a closer look at what the fire looked like when emergency responders first got there and how the community in the area helped them stop more buildings from catching fire.
And we dug a little deeper and came up with some impressive numbers showing just how large this fire was and how many resources went into fighting it. And finally, you'll hear from people who live in that area and the panic some of them experienced as the smoke moved in.
A battalion chief on duty was driving in the area when he first spotted the smoke and flames shooting into the air. News Channel 15's Megan Royst joins us live tonight from where it all happened. So Megan, describe for us how things look out there now.
Fire officials say they have everything under control. They're just fighting a few hot spots and plan to be here all night. I want to show you what things look like right now. Crews are starting to rummage through the debris and, like I said, fight those hot spots. They've been battling the blaze for nearly 9 hours now, although it's proving to be relentless. Take a look at this incredible video. This is what Fort Wayne firefighters went up against. Officials say it all started with one building.
Because of the exposures to several other buildings, it spread quickly.
Some were concerned the flames and smoke billowing in the air posed a health risk. Fort Wayne Fire Department spokesperson Stacy Fleming says investigators spoke with the owner of the storage unit complex. Based on what was inside, Fleming says there's nothing your family should be worried about.
We have no reason to believe that there is any hazardous materials in that. It is a storage facility. We have nothing to indicate anything further.
Although the fire was out of control for hours, firefighters had a clear plan of attack.
This isn't something that's new. We have planned for a type of situation like this.
Fleming says as they called for more help, other stations from across the county helped fill the void.
Whether that be at the stations covering the territory or just on standby if we do indeed need them. Now, we just got word that they have just started the investigation looking for a cause of this massive fire, and they expect it to be a lengthy one given all of the damage out here. For now, reporting live near downtown, Megan Royst, News Channel 15.
One thing that made this fire particularly difficult for firefighters, the lack of hydrants in that area. Because of that, crews had to string several hoses together. Fortunately, lots of people in the area were willing to pitch in and help. We shot this video this afternoon near Canal and Liberty Streets. In it, you can see everyday people moving a fire hose over some railroad tracks to help the firefighters. And thanks to their help, crews were able to get water on the flames more quickly.
A fire this massive can be especially difficult to fight, even for a large fire department like the one in Fort Wayne. We did a little digging, and here is what we learned. The Fort Wayne Fire Department has a total of 340 firefighters. 96 of them worked today's fire. That means nearly 30% of the entire department was on the scene. In fact, so many Fort Wayne firefighters were at this particular fire that if another had broken out somewhere else in the city, departments from New Haven or other townships would have been called in to respond.
As lots of people were on the ground helping, even more were watching the events unfold.
News Channel 15's Erin Rogers talked to people who live close to the burning buildings about their concerns, and she joins us now, continuing our coverage. Erin?
Well, Mark and Heather, neighbors I talked to say their neighborhood is a pretty quiet place, but today's events made some of them nervous. For some, it was a nice day to take a boat ride with family. But for others in the neighborhood by the Tecumseh Bridge, this afternoon was definitely out of the ordinary.
Not a typical Monday at all.
Because this was the scene on the other side of the bridge.
They've got us all blocked off 2 blocks down, so I snuck in the back way and pulled in front of my house.
But to come home to part of their neighborhood in flames and lots of smoke.
It was such black smoke that it really looked like it would be hazardous material.
And for that reason, many of the neighbors were concerned.
We might be evacuated, but the wind is not blowing in our direction, so it's in our favor at this point.
It scares me because I have 2 children, and if we have to evacuate, it's going to be bad.
I spoke with Diane Starks, who owns the business across the street from the burning storage units. We watched as the building barely 50 feet away from her came tumbling down.
The direction of the smoke, we kind of been watching it. We thought about closing up here anyway, but they kind of got a restriction on leaving.
She couldn't leave for safety reasons, even 4 hours after the fire started.
Still surprised at how bad it's burning now.
And shortly after I talked to Starks around 5, her power was shut off. She was just one of more than 1,000 customers in the area who lost power. Indiana Michigan Power couldn't restore it until the fire department gave them the go-ahead. And around 9:30 tonight, everyone got their power back. But part of the delay was that 2 power poles also caught on fire. Erin Rogers, News Channel 15.
And this is really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to our coverage of today's fire. Over on Wayne.com, we have a photo gallery featuring some of the best photos we took and photos that were sent in to us by you, our viewers. You can also look at more video of the fire and see some of those buildings as they collapsed.